When I tell people I'm a pastor, the first thing out of their mouths is usually, "You're a pastor?" But the second question that I often get is, "What do you do during the week?" Find out in this episode of Christ and Coffee.
Christ and Coffee with Hygo.
A pastor is someone who teaches, who is a director of a nonprofit organization, and is someone who counsels other people. Most people think that all a pastor does is preach a sermon on Sunday and serve communion. This is indeed true, and it takes a lot of effort and energy to prepare a good sermon, but a lot of pastors do more than just one sermon a week. They often do Bible studies, they write articles, they have blog posts, they create YouTube videos. They do a lot of teaching throughout the week when people have questions about theological topics, topics related to what the Bible really means and says, what is Jesus teaching. A lot of energy is required to teach the scriptures and to preach the gospel. The second thing pastors do is they counsel. They are always there for people's highs and lows. They get a front row seat to people's joys and sorrows, whether it be someone's funeral, someone battling terminal illness. They are there to pray and be with the couple and point them to God in the midst of suffering. They also get a front seat to people's highs and all the joys of life, whether it be a baptism, whether it be a wedding where they do premarital counsel. A lot of counseling is behind the scenes. Pastors don't need to gossip about what's happening in the lives of their congregants, but it's a lot of energy and a lot of work to be there and direct people to God in the midst of their highs and lows of life. One of the most important things pastors do is they pray for their church, they pray for their members, they pray with their members so they could have encounters with the Holy Spirit, so they could point and experience God's love for them in the midst of their highs and their lows. Pastors are directors of nonprofit organizations. They're responsible for the flourishing and functionality of the church, that everything is running smoothly, that all the administrative tasks, all the little details that happen. Most pastors are in charge of small churches where they do not have large staffs or any staffs at all, in which they are responsible to make sure that bulletins are updated, websites are updated. Every little detail that makes a church service function is functioning, and a lot of the burden and responsibility is placed on the pastor. Church is never a spectator sport. It's always calling people to play the field, to do their part. They're not supposed to sit in the pews like they're in the bleachers, but they're called to jump on the battleground, on the field, and do their part. And the pastor needs to be someone who motivates and leads people to action. The pastor must not play church where they're performing in front of the crowds, but they need to be the coach and motivate the church to be the church. Thank you for watching this episode of Christ and Coffee. Thank you for learning about what I do for a living. I implore you to support your pastors, to give them the help they need. It's a tough job at times. Pray for your pastors, pray for your leaders, but more importantly, get on the field and serve the church. Please give me a big thumbs up on the page on this video, comment below. Stay caffeinated, my friends.